The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And a lot of fears out there with the world going on. You just turn the news on and you're like, ugh.
Is that what you do? You turn the news on and go, ugh.
Oh, God. Just pathetic. I mean, I go outside, I'll go to the store, everything looks fine. And then you turn the news on, it's like, oh, God. Everybody's suffering and dying, and there's a world war starting, and a zombie apocalypse, and COVID's back, and all that stuff, you know? All the things to be scared about.
That's good. I'm happy you put everyone in a positive mood this week before Christmas.
Well, I'm saying
Where the hell is this going?
Well, I'm saying a lot of it's stupid. You shouldn't get all caught up in all this stuff and just live your life, and it's going to be fine. Don't get caught up with all the negative stuff that's out there.
So the negative news about people struggling and all that is just stupid.
Well, just don't worry about it, Kenzie. It doesn't affect you.
Yeah, I can't fix it. I can donate money. I can do what I can. I can volunteer at a soup kitchen. I can do those
you
things.
A lot of that?
Do all those things.
Hey, we did God Bless the Gravy. You helped a little bit.
Thank you. Helped a lot with what
But
is
you're
it?
just suggesting things that you could do that you haven't done. You're like, I could work in a soup kitchen, but I can only do so much. But you haven't done that.
I have done a soup kitchen. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
When was the last time you were in a soup kitchen?
It was 4 years ago.
I don't believe that.
It was. I got pictures. I'll show you.
Okay.
4 years. Of course you took pictures.
Of course I took pictures of it. Why am I going to do it?
Selfies with the people you're like, you're supposed to kind of protect their privacy.
No, it was just me in the soup. Saying
Why,
like,
were you a customer?
you got to sample the goods. You got to sample the soup.
This is your way of getting a free lunch. You were like, well, they're just giving the stuff out. Get
Yeah.
out of
He
here.
didn't understand he was craving soup, but he goes, oh my God, a soup kitchen near me. I love soup.
I had the ladle.
What are the odds?
I had the ladle I was passing out, but I was crumbling up crackers there in the soup for myself there before everybody. Hey, speaking of eating, more of those things out there that people are scared of. And it turns out that Gen Z, which we've proven is Case's generation, Case the producer, has menu anxiety when dining out, meaning they're too scared to order their own meals. They get so much anxiety looking at the menu, and instead of just saying like, hey, I'm looking for something I like on here, I might like this, or I could like this. And the anxiety builds up to a point where they can't order because they're afraid they're going to order the wrong thing and it's going to be bad. Menu anxiety.
Amen. Plagues me every day.
Is that right?
I can't. Oh my God. The thought, like, you got to sit down and they're going to give you a menu. Hopefully it's a physical menu, not the QR code, because that adds a whole other level of stress
Does
to
the
it.
QR code really scare you?
I don't like it. I don't know if it scares me, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
And then I always worry about pronouncing what I'm ordering wrong, which causes me to be less adventurous because I don't want to order anything that makes me sound like an idiot. And then everything's so expensive that if it isn't the best meal of all time, then I've made a mistake. What if I got this? What if maybe I should have got that instead? The whole thing is just a living hell.
Kenzie's face right now is unreal because eating out's like one of the best things you can do. You know, you get a meal outside the house. You know, it's exciting to go.
Once the food hits the table, heaven on earth.
Sure.
Before that, nightmare.
Well, that
Just saying what you want to eat.
It's not as easy as it seems.
It is. No, it is.
I disagree.
Did your parents make you order at the table, or do they always order for you?
I'm trying to think of when I would have started ordering for myself. And I guess my answer will change depending on the question I'm about to ask you, Kenzie. Does your 9-year-old order for himself?
Yes.
Okay, then I definitely did
And
that.
what I don't like is, though, because I understand the waitress's perspective, if your kid's not ready and you're still discussing it, like, we talk first. What are you getting? That's a no. That's not going to be your side dish. So they're ready, and then I'm like, okay, tell her what you want. So it's important to get your kid ready so they're not wasting this girl's time, okay? We don't need to learn. She doesn't have to be part of the lesson, okay?
it's like I want a hamburger. No, wait, they got pizza. Hold on, I want chocolate
I
cake.
don't want that. Why can't I have fries? We're not doing that in front of her,
Yeah.
okay? And then you got to get them there. But it's important for them. It's your job to get your kids ready to do stuff. It's not your job to do every single thing for your kids always. Like, newborn, yeah. Okay? But you hit certain stages where it's your job to set them up so they're not 24 and scared to get like a burger. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it kind of explains a little bit of Case's family and the weirdness of they hang out in just rooms.
Yeah, we just talk to
separately.
each other. I had no idea.
Well, you should be the most independent kid ever. They were never even around you.
That's true. That's true.
What happened?
I just live a very simple life. I just stay in my little box, my little comfort zone.
What you guys could do as a family case is like Cody checked in. He said, my wife has such menu anxiety that she pre-menus the day before we go out.
I completely understand.
I don't mind doing that either. If I know I'm going to go somewhere, I love looking at the menu the day before.
Ideally, I know what I'm ordering by the time I walk into the restaurant. I've done the prep, I've done the homework, I've read the reviews. That way I know I can make an informed decision.
Sure.
Yikes. Just enjoy. You guys just need to enjoy the moment. I like getting to a restaurant and being like, all right, what are the specials?
No, I think you've worked with Brian and I long enough now to know that we can't enjoy anything. Life is too stressful to enjoy.
Okay, don't lump me in with you.
But am I wrong?
No, I'm very stressed and have anxiety, but I'll tell you what you need to do next time, and this is something I haven't done everywhere, but when you pull this move, you go to a restaurant, and you know the restaurant is at least decent, right? You go in there, and everybody goes around and orders, and it gets to you, and you're last up to order. And you know, when the waitress says, or waiter says, what do you want? You go, you know what? Surprise me.
What?
I've done that before, and they say, and I go, I can't decide. Everything is so good, but just surprise me. And I had one of the best meals I ever had in my life doing that once, where they went back to the chef who's sitting back there grinding out all these meals. Maybe he didn't even choose. Oh, someone wants me to use my art that I worked in chef school so hard. And the guy came up with some amazing pasta dish with shrimp and beef, and it was unbelievable. Peas were in there. It was really good.
Wow, peas even?
Peas even. It was really good. Try that sometime.
I would never do that. That would annoy the crap out of me if I was a chef and I got just a ticket that said surprise me. I'd spit in your food.
I believe this
That
guy.
would be a surprise.
This guy was elevated to do something incredible by that answer.
Well,
It's
I
like-
will say, you were never a waiter, were you, Case?
No.
No, as a waitress, you 1,000% know the best thing on the menu or like what to add to it to make it taste better. Like when I worked at Famous Dave's, ironically, when someone asked me the best thing, I don't know if they have it, the best Cajun chicken sandwich you will ever have was at Famous Dave's.
See, I would never have guessed that.
And nobody ordered it
Never
because
guessed
it was
that.
like, I'll do brisket, I'll do pork. So when someone would be like, what's actually the best thing here? I'm like, their Cajun chicken. Like, you know the thing because you've tried everything. So as a waitress, I was like, no problem. Now you're going to for sure love your meal way ahead of you. It's not a lot of work.
Believe it or not, Hooters has an incredible melted
damn
ham and
it.
cheese sandwich.
That's
What was the sandwich?
repulsive.
A ham and cheese sandwich. It was the best thing on the menu. Not the wings, not whatever else they have, but the ham and cheese sandwich. I can't tell you how I found that out, but it's true. It's really on the menu there. It's
What
delicious.
does that mean? What do you mean you can't tell us?
I can't tell you. I'm just
Well,
saying.
you obviously tried it.
I know. But how I found it wasn't on the menu. It's not on the menu.
Wait, you went off the menu at Hooters?
Yes.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
All right, so apparently this menu anxiety thing is a real. A lot of our listeners are checking in at 312-591-8300. It said a story that talked about Gen Zers having this. They can't order. They get freaked out about what they're going to order, and just the restaurant experience becomes horrible because you can't just look at a menu and find the best thing you want on there and do it. Duquesne checked in and said, when I'm getting fast food and my girlfriend's in the car with me, I can't order. And I have her do my order. But when I'm alone, I'm just fine.
My God. I don't know if that's a healthy relationship.
I mean, is there pressure in front of somebody else? Is that what it leads to, of what you're going to order? And like you said, Case, you're afraid to say like bolognese?
I'm so afraid to say pronounce the words wrong, because then you have to get into a scenario where the waiter goes, wait, what'd you say? And I go, well, this, and then I got to point to it. And the whole thing is just humiliating.
Ugh.
What, would your girlfriend be mean to you if you said something wrong?
I'm already convinced that she thinks I'm an idiot. I'm trying to do everything I can to not give her that perception. I don't need any
she's
more.
in a relationship with you.
Yeah, but that doesn't
Matter?
Well, no, not in my brain, because I'm always convinced that the next mistake I make is going to be the thing that causes her to lose interest in me. And even if there's no signs of that, even if that's not logical, I think every mistake is the biggest mistake ever.
Don't you think that it would be funny, like if you said a word wrong? Like, don't you think you guys could laugh about it?
Not in my head, no.
Okay.
Saying a word wrong is worse than death. It's the single worst thing that can happen.
Good Lord. So you're saying if you order chicken Alfredo, she might dump you?
If I said Alfredo wrong, I don't want to give her that opening, you know?
I do stuff wrong all the time.
I know, but it's funny when you do it. It's great.
It's a good time.
Yeah, not when I do it.
I really struggle. There's a restaurant near us called...
You can't even say the what?
Oh my God.
I gotta think about it. I'm gonna pause for a long time in between so I can do it.
Okay.
Sushi station, but I can't say it fast.
Wait, that was hard?
I can't say it fast because it's sushi station. Like I fall down the stairs.
Let's say it 3 times. Fast.
No.
Come on. Sushi station, sushi station, sushi station.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's sushi station. Son of a sushi station. I hate it. It's like a little, but it's like we just laugh about it. If he was like, I'm now leaving you, I'd be like, okay, good luck with dinner, because you can't cook.
Mike checked in and said the Indiana public school system failed case.
This is a recurring theme. The amount of texts we get about how the Indiana school system has failed me.
I feel like there's a weird vendetta against that. Like, people are really upset about the Indiana school system.
Well, it's not great. I'm a product of it.
Oh, God. Well, it just seems weird because I don't remember ever some kid or a person that if they touch a peanut, they die. And that seems where we're at right now. That's where when you're ordering stuff on the menu and they always say the allergy stuff. I'm like,
they didn't have peanut allergies when you were a kid? That's what you're trying to say?
No, they didn't. And I'm not trying to say everything was awesome back then. I'm just saying.
No, I think that, like, back then we just dealt with things like, oh, my throat's itchy. Like, we didn't think about, like, oh, it's being caused by things. Like, you're like, I'm just a puffy SOB. Like, it's just, I'm not exploding for any other reason. I just must have been too much salt.
Why is Timmy on the floor under the table convulsing?
My husband.
He'll get over it.
My husband didn't see blades of grass until he was in high school because they're finally like, maybe you can't see great.
Wait. What do you mean?
Like, they didn't get him glasses or prescriptions
So
or anything.
he couldn't see blades of grass.
He goes, I thought it was just like a green blob. Like, his vision was that bad almost his entire life, and no one did anything about it until, like, mid-high school. He's like, is it supposed to look like this? I don't know.
So grass like The Simpsons? Like just this
people-
green, like
I can't even
cartoon?
believe his senses must be unbelievable. Because I don't even know if he knew like what his mom looked like.
Oh,
You
God.
smell her when she walked in or something. It's just people just didn't look into that stuff the same.
I feel so bad for him because there's nothing more embarrassing as a kid than not being able to see. Like my vision in second and third grade, it was like, oh, I can't see what the teacher's doing. I can't see anything in front of me. I'm a failure. This is humiliating. And then getting glasses before the average kid got glasses, forget about it. Awful experience.
Okay. The more I find out about Case, I just want to kind of give him a hug.
Well, what's funny is I believe I've never been diagnosed, but I believe that I'm like a mild amount of dyslexia because when I really struggled in math. And I would literally get everything right, but I'd like flip the numbers. I'd write them in the wrong order and get the problem wrong. Or in the middle of the problem, if I switched up, like it sucked. Like I was doing things right, but it was just all over the place. And I had all these teachers and everything, just like, wow, she got it, but she wrote it backwards. Like maybe this is why. And I couldn't do my times tables. I still can't because I freak out. Like, is it 86 or is it 68? Like, that's how my mind, I freak out about it. And no one ever, I told my parents, I'm like, I really struggle. I get all these numbers backwards. They're like, well, work on that. No one did anything. A teacher would be like, oh, all of her work's correct, and these are the 3 correct numbers in the wrong order. Well, she's supposed to be stupid. We're not going to help her. Don't do anything.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Bad Omens, Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and we were just talking about, menu anxiety, ordering things that led to a peanut allergy conversation where I can't believe, today it just feels like some people can touch a peanut and die. Not just.
Yes, some people can.
I don't remember that as a kid ever happening. And then someone texted in and goes, well, Brian, that's because back then we just let them die. So they died of a peanut allergy. No one knows they died of a peanut allergy because they just died of, and then, whoa, it was a very weird death. And then now today we actually have technology to figure these things out.
We did out less peanut people,
yeah,
too, because they just died off back then. Now there's way more peanut people. We've kept them alive.
So we actually went reverse Darwinism and kept more people having a peanut allergy by just not letting them go.
There was a girl I worked with. Her name was Barrett. We did not get along. And it was when I was a news reporter in Minnesota. And I felt like she used her peanut allergy for evil, and it pissed me off. Because we were weekend reporters, and every Saturday, she'd come in, and the thing is that you have to do is you have to go film your story, come back and edit it. So you can film a whole story. You're only going to be halfway done with your workday, or maybe not even, right? With the amount of editing you have to do and all that. So she'd come in and be like, I have to, every Saturday, I have to go. I think maybe the guy interviewed touched a peanut earlier, and then I shook his hand. I have to leave. And I'm like, okay. But she wasn't puffy. She wasn't reacting. And it was always the Saturday shift that she would leave, and then I'd have to do double stories and double cover. I'm like, okay. And I got in trouble because I just thought it would be funny. I left a cutout of Mr. Peanut on her desk one day, like as a joke.
Yeah.
And she got so mad she cried in front of the office. And I'm like, okay, he's a top hand cane. We just settle down. It's not a threatening image.
I think maybe you're also jealous of her scam. It sounded like a pretty good one.
Oh my God. But I was just like, I tried to respect the whole peanut thing, but it was like we had to talk about it it was the only thing talked about every day. And then I just thought it would be funny, like a little bit like a Mr. Peanut. Like I was just giving her a hard time because she left, and then I got like huge trouble.
Did she touch that and then she died?
Yeah, right. A piece of paper.
Touched the Mr. Peanut
I
stand
wrote
up.
peanuts on it.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Big local story last couple days as a murder conviction of a Chicago man who spent 12 years behind bars was overturned. And we'll get to the reason why in a second here. It's going to blow you away. So just imagine that. He spent 12 years in jail, found guilty of murder based on the testimony of an eyewitness. Okay? His name was Darian Harris. And he was convicted following a 2011 shooting that left a man dead and another one seriously injured. This was from the Chicago Tribune, this report. So on, Tuesday of last week, a Cook County judge vacated Harris's conviction. There's a project here in Chicago. It's called the Exoneration Project that goes through cases that, they look at cases that were questionable, I guess, in a way, and they try to find they put efforts and resources toward new research of the case. So
You could just start out with that.
yeah, but I'm saying they went through it and found out that the key eyewitness in the case that convicted this man was legally blind. The guy that said he did it was legally blind.
Wait, the guy, okay, not the guy who did it, the guy who said he saw him?
That's right.
Well, he's lying. See,
Very fair.
I saw him, immediately lied.
Yeah,
Immediately lied.
He had advanced glaucoma, and that was the eyewitness they used. And that was the basis of the case. Sometimes there's other evidence and all kinds of things. This was the basis of the case, was the eyewitness that saw him there. And on Tuesday, a Cook County judge vacated the conviction, and they said, this was Judge Diana Kenworthy said, it's best to just start over here. 12 years, though, this wasn't like 6 months in jail by accident or maybe a couple months. 12, which is also wrong, but 12 years he was in jail, and they just now figured it out. All the time, by the way, he said he was not guilty and pleaded. He said, I did not do this. I did not do this crime. He said he was home watching a football game.
It doesn't mean the blind guy couldn't have been aware that he's the one who did it.
Yes, but it was by the identification of him by this witness that caused them to convict him, and he's legally blind. He has glaucoma.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That didn't come up in the first case?
Ironically, it did. In the situation, his conviction was secured almost solely through the testimony of a blind eyewitness who the court repeatedly referred to as credible, and the family and the lawyer of the other side brought this up. In fact, several years ago, they brought it up already one more time to Kim Fox, the Cook County State's attorney, who looked at the case, and they're arguing that the witness was legally blind. And they didn't do anything about it then. Again.
What old Kimmy say?
Basically, it took this much longer now to go through it again and then go look at everything again and say, yeah, you're right. He was legally blind, and he's out now.
All right, but is this guy guilty regardless of the
He's
blind
not
man?
guilty. He's not guilty. He didn't do it.
Was it because did nobody else see?
No, they haven't caught the new person yet, but they know that he wasn't there. They've confirmed that he was at home, like he said. He was watching a basketball game at the time of the shooting. And he was arrested just days after the murder. He was sentenced to 76 years in prison.
It would be such a bummer to go to jail or prison or whatever, and you actually didn't do it.
That's my biggest fear in life. Can you imagine being sent to jail and you didn't do it?
First off, everyone's saying they didn't do it. So it's not that you're like, no one's like, whoa, wait, this guy's saying it's not true.
Yeah.
Like, that would suck. Because it's one thing if you do a crime and you're like, I got caught, I should have been better. That would suck so bad. Like, what lesson am I learning?
Yeah. Correction here. They are going to, so basically he has not been released yet. They're going to give him a whole new trial. That's what's going on here. So he wasn't released. They're going to go through all the evidence again. So, maybe they'll find out again that, he was home watching this basketball game. So they vacated that verdict. But he is still in custody, and he won't be released as he waits for a new trial still. So he's still in jail here 12 years later and probably didn't do it. You know, I mean, now if they find out he did it, that's a whole different story, right? But I mean, it looks to all the evidence showing us the guy that convicted
we're
him.
over here like, oh, that's not fair. And then they're going to find even more evidence he did it. We're like, oh, never mind.
Oh, we'll follow up. If they find like all this evidence, like, oh yeah.
Someone's going to owe that blind guy an apology. He's like, I told you.
But you guys didn't listen.
No one listens to me.
Just because I can't see, you didn't believe me that I saw the guy.
He's like, I'm over here with like my other senses are just crushing it. No one believes me.
I felt his face. You know, I knew it was him.
Well, sound, he could. There's a million things.
Yeah,
there's a million things.
We'll follow up later. I just found it, unbelievable. They just kind of sloughed over that in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting. That's why the judge said that we're starting over. We're going to start from scratch, and we'll figure it all out. Great, good job.
I hope they have somebody who could see where he was at home.
Yeah, well, that was the whole base of the case. So they can't find any more new evidence. I mean, he didn't do it. As far as the courts will say. As far as the courts say. Yeah, it's Brian Kenzie on Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.